today's headlines, Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif announced that he had written to the Chinese government, requesting debt reprofiling. This move aims to secure the International Monetary Fund's approval for a $7 billion economic bailout by next month. Debt reprofiling, as defined by the World Bank, involves modifying the schedule of future repayments through refinancing, debt substitution, or renegotiations. This process can help countries facing simultaneous loan maturities or exposure issues in their liabilities' currency composition, mitigating currency risk and improving debt sustainability. In another development, the government has announced a 5 million rupee support package per family of missing persons, aimed at providing legal and financial assistance.
जिनमें उनके मुआशी मामलात, अगर वो ब्रेड विनर था उस घर का, उससे जुड़े हुए कानूनी मामलात कि उनके जो बैंक अकाउंट्स हैं, उनकी जो जायदाद से मुतल्लिका चीज़ें हैं, वो सारी जो हैं वो क्लोजर में चली जाती हैं, बंद हो जाती हैं। तो इन तकालीफ को सामने रखते हुए आज काबीना ने जो इमीडिएट एक सपोर्ट पैकेज है उसे कंसिडर करते हुए जो चंद फैसले किए उनमें ये हैं कि एक स्पेशल कमेटी भी कॉन्स्टिट्यूट की जाएगी जो ये एग्ज़ामिन करेगी कि कौन से ऐसे केसेस हैं जो जेन्युइन केसेस हैं जहाँ पे फैमिलीज़ को फौरी तौर पे सपोर्ट की ज़रूरत है। तो उस सपोर्ट पैकेज में उनको कंसिडर किया जाएगा और उस फैमिली के लिए 5 मिलियन पर फैमिली जो है वो सपोर्ट पैकेज उसका ऐलान किया है वज़ीर आज़म साहब ने, काबीना ने फ़ैसला किया है। उसका तरीक़ेकार क्या होगा उसके लिए उन्होंने कमेटी तश्कील दे दी गई।
This comes in the wake of multiple protests and unrest in Balochistan over the issue of missing persons. Just last December, Baloch demonstrators marched to Islamabad but faced force and arrests, leading to a month-long sit-in outside the National Press Club. Recent protests have turned violent, claiming 3 lives and injuring at least 24. However, following successful negotiations between the government and the 𝐒𝐭𝐨𝐫𝐢𝐞𝐬 committee, a deal was signed, leading to the calling off of the sit-in. Turning to international affairs, the National Assembly on Friday unanimously adopted a resolution condemning the ongoing Israeli brutality in Gaza. Members highlighted incidents such as the killing of Hamas top leader Ismail Haniyeh as deliberate conspiracies to sabotage peace efforts. The resolution, presented by Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister 𝐒𝐭𝐲𝐬𝐬, was prepared with all parties' consensus, reflecting a unified stance on the Gaza conflict.
Condemnation of Israeli oppression and brutality against people of Pakistan. The National Assembly of Pakistan, in its session held on 2nd of August 2024, hereby resolves as follows. Whereas the atrocities by Israel on Palestinians have escalated, causing immense suffering and loss of over 40,000 innocent lives so far, including women and children. Whereas all parliamentary parties in the National Assembly expressed their unified grief and anger over the ongoing Israeli oppression and brutality against people of Palestine for past 9 months. Whereas the assassination of Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran has added to the angst and grief, and such incidents are seen as deliberate conspiracies to sabotage efforts to stop the ongoing oppression and brutality against Palestinians and to establish peace in the region.
In today's top stories, hope for a ceasefire among Palestinians in Gaza has been shattered following the assassination of Hamas political leader Ismail Haniyeh. Thousands of mourners gathered in Doha, Qatar, earlier today for his funeral. Haniyeh was assassinated in Tehran 2 days ago, a killing that has escalated tensions in the region. Protesters in Beirut carried symbolic coffins and waved Palestinian flags, chanting in solidarity as they marched through the streets. Hamas and Iran have accused Israel of the assassination and have pledged retaliation, though Israel has neither claimed responsibility nor denied involvement. Meanwhile, Hezbollah has vowed a significant response following the killing of its commander, Fuad Shukr, in an Israeli air raid on Tuesday. Sheikh Naim Qassem, Hezbollah's deputy chief, declared that Hezbollah and its allies would triumph against what he termed evil forces. In a message to Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah, Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps Commander Hossein Salami echoed these sentiments, promising revenge against Israel and its supporters for the assassinations of Haniyeh and Shukr. Hezbollah has already retaliated by attacking the Al-Majd site of the Israeli army, as reported on their Telegram channel. This follows Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah's warning of a significant military response to Israel's attack on Beirut that killed Fuad Shukr. The Israeli military has also released aerial footage of air raids in southern Lebanon, claiming to have killed 2 Hezbollah members after rocket launches from the area. They also intercepted a suspicious aerial target from Lebanon into the occupied Golan Heights, causing a fire but no casualties. In related developments, Israel claims to have killed Mohammed al-Jabari, the deputy head of Palestinian Islamic Jihad's weapons manufacturing department. Palestinian Islamic Jihad has not yet responded to this claim. On a diplomatic front, Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant met with British Defense Secretary John Healey to discuss strengthening security ties and intelligence cooperation, emphasizing the importance of a coalition to defend against Iran and its proxies. Amid growing tensions and fears of a wider Middle East war, Poland has advised its citizens against traveling to Lebanon, Israel, and Iran. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs cited the unstable security situation and difficulties in leaving these countries as reasons for the advisory. LOT Polish Airlines has also cancelled flights to Lebanon and Israel. Similarly, France has urged its nationals visiting Iran to leave immediately due to the increased risk of military escalation. Lastly, Israel's Foreign Minister Israel Katz has summoned Turkey's deputy ambassador for a stern reprimand after Turkey's embassy lowered its flag to half-staff during Haniyeh's funeral. This move has further strained relations between the two countries. Israel's National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir announced the detention of Imam Ekrema Sobri following accusations that he delivered a sermon eulogizing the slain Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh. In a social media post, Ben-Gvir said his policy towards instigators is of zero tolerance. Meanwhile, Israeli forces continue their operations in the West Bank. The Palestinian news agency Wafa reported that Israeli troops raided the town of Ajul, west of Ramallah, and arrested 2 17-year-old boys. This is part of a broader pattern, as Israel regularly detains Palestinian minors, often holding them without charge. The humanitarian situation in Palestinian refugee camps is dire. The UN's Palestinian Refugee Agency, or UNRWA, reported on social media that the Neshams and Tulkarm camps are facing severe water shortages and electricity outages. UNRWA highlighted that continuous raids by Israeli security forces are causing significant destruction and endangering lives in these areas. Just today, raids in the occupied West Bank cities of Nablus and Ramallah resulted in injuries to Palestinians and the bulldozing of agricultural land. UNRWA described this situation as a silent war that must end. In Gaza, Israeli forces have carried out more deadly aerial attacks. At least 9 people were killed in Gaza City, Khan Yunis, and the Maghazi camp. Al Jazeera Arabic reported an attack near the Jordanian hospital in Gaza City's Tal al-Hawa neighborhood, which killed at least 3 civilians and injured several others. This marks the 3rd deadly attack in Gaza City since early this morning, with 5 more fatalities in other neighborhoods. The toll of Israel's war on Gaza has been devastating. At least 39,480 people, including 16,314 children, have been killed, and 91,128 have been wounded since the conflict began. Additionally, the UNRWA has documented 40,000 cases of hepatitis A in its shelters in the Gaza Strip since the war broke out last October, highlighting the severe health crisis facing the region. The Bangladeshi government has banned the opposition Jamaat-e-Islami party, a decision Law Minister Anisul Huq called long overdue. The circular issued under the Anti-Terrorism Act of 2009 also prohibits activities of JI's student wing, Bangladesh Islami Chhatra Shibir. The ruling Awami League government accuses Jamaat and Shibir of violent attacks on government properties during student-led protests demanding government job quota reforms. The protests, which began in mid-July, have resulted in over 200 deaths. Huq described Jamaat as a platform of militants, highlighting that its leaders were previously tried for crimes committed during the 1971 War of Independence. This is the 2nd ban on the party since 1972, when it was initially outlawed for its anti-liberation stance. In response, Jamaat leader Shafiqur Rahman condemned the ban, accusing the government of orchestrating violence to suppress non-political student protests and divert attention from real issues. Journalist Shayan S. Khan commented that the ban might not benefit the Awami League politically and suggested it was meant to appease India's right-wing BJP. Bangladesh Nationalist Party Secretary General Mirza Fakhrul Islam Alamgir criticized the decision, calling it poorly motivated. Meanwhile, student protests continue despite a Supreme Court order to scale back job quotas. UK police are preparing for potential violent far-right demonstrations following the stabbing of 3 children at a Taylor Swift-themed dance class. The misinformation online wrongly attributed the attack to a Muslim immigrant, leading to unrest. Demonstrations are being organised in several cities, including Sunderland, Belfast, Cardiff, Liverpool, and Manchester. Prime Minister Keir Starmer pledged more resources for police to stop the disorder. He condemned the violence, blaming it on coordinated far-right efforts. 17-year-old 𝐒𝐭𝐲𝐬, born in the UK to Rwandan parents, has been charged with murder and 10 counts of attempted murder. But violent protests erupted in Southport and other cities, fueled by misinformation about the attacker's identity. Far-right demonstrators clashed with police outside a mosque in Southport and near the Prime Minister's office in London.